Hello, sir. Welcome to the NN podcast.
Good morning. Thank you.
We recently had the news that Nepal would be setting up its own flying school. Do you have any idea about that?
I heard about it. Two personality got the license, I heard. And this is a very good news, I believe, for the Nepalese Aviation
Community. Do you think that it's taken too much time for Nepal to set up a flying school, or do you think it was a tad too early?
And absolutely, it took too long time. Yes, I agree with you. Because, this flying school, it was open actually quite a long time back. And these people, they couldn't handle properly. Misused public fund and mishandled those so-called flying schools that time. I believe government should have taken good action against those people and then given the right person for this job. They couldn't do it. As you know that there is no system in Nepal. And this is very sad for the young generation.
And how long ago was this that there was a permission?
Exactly, I don't remember, but I believe it is more than like 10 years, 15 years back.
10, 15 years.
Yes. They have opened the school also in Nepal, that's the best. And I heard the operator who have restarted this business, it took public money and then ran away.
Okay.
Yes, that happened. You don't remember, you have no idea about it?
No, I don't
Really, yes, yeah, it was yes.
I mean, there are certain villages in our country where people had taken lands inappropriately, giving the people the false hope that they're going to be opening the airport, and then there was no answer. So people had their lands taken away from them in the false hope that airports were going to be established. And there are still people who are fighting cases, but nothing is done. So as you said, it's a very bad system and a very bad government, I think.
Which sector you want to talk? Every sector there is no system. People like you and me, maybe we're used to since we're here in Nepal. But those who comes from abroad, getting the good education and come back to if they want to come back to Nepal, do you think it's possible for them to stay here in this system?
Yeah.
No way. That's why they're going away from here. We're losing such a good manpower, such a good personalities, no? Very sad.
Very sad.
They should know this. Whoever is in the government level, they know these things, but they're not doing the right things. Very sad.
Very sad. Well, talking about the lack of system in our country, I was talking to somebody who had completed his piloting from South Africa. He came in our country. He didn't really know that the aviation sector was so poor. And he told me that until unless you've got money and you've got power, connections at the right places, it's very, very difficult for anybody to become a pilot in our country. Is that
100% assessment?
100%?
Yes. Those days, when we graduated from flying school, came back to Nepal and then applied for the job. It was okay, I think. Those days, the system was a little bit established, no? There were like 5-6 airlines, and then they were looking for the pilot. They used to take the proper interview, proper aptitude training, this, that, and then they used to hire us. Now the thing is, all commercialized. See, one person, when he graduates from abroad as a pilot, he spent almost like 1 crore rupees. And then when he come back to Nepal and try to join this company, the company will take another 10, 15, 30, 40 lakhs to 50 lakh rupees for the endorsement for the type rating. It's very tough. Yes. And company, they don't have any burden. They're so relaxed now, see. They're hiring someone, everything, the costing, there is no costing more, nothing, but they're making extra money out of it.
Yeah.
The government should make proper rules, no? If the company is hiring you, they should give the type rating for that particular candidate. And take a bond. It's all right. 4, 5 years, 6 years bond. Now, this is very sad. They are paying money. On top of it, they are doing bond also. And they are totally bonded labor in their company. But the company will treat them like anything, which is very sad. These things, everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Well, we talked to, and I told you about this earlier, that we talked to the first female station manager in the country, and she said that a lot of people who are working in the Nepalese airlines are poorly paid. Some of them have to pay money even to become interns. We've had instances coming. There are a few engineers who told me that they wanted to become interns, and they had to pay about 200,000-300,000 rupees. I mean, this is a very bad state of affairs. First, you're taking free labor. You're not paying them anything. And second, they've got no guarantee of their jobs as well.
That's what I'm doing. See, same thing. I know, like you said, engineer sector, pilot sector, even ground staff, they're poorly treated. Poorly treated, absolutely. And they cannot give you 100%, because of this reason. And this, I don't know, it is very difficult to comment on this. I don't know, airlines making money and then they're not paying them, or maybe they're not making money and they're not paying them. This has to be like some kind of investigation. More or less, this management, I don't know why they're not paying salary on time, why not they're paying proper amount, and why they're taking so much money from the pilots, so much money from the engineers. It is very awkward. So maybe even talking to you regarding this matter, when people, your young generation, they're discouraged, no?
Yeah, it will be.
During that area was plane crash, I get chance to discuss about that incident, that accident actually, with a couple of media personalities. I got so many calls from abroad. Young guys, 20 years, 19 years, they are just want to doing the pilot course in US, Australia, or maybe, as you said, South Africa. So sad. They are calling me and then, oh my God, this is the situation in Nepal, sir, should we continue our training or not? I said, no, do it. If this is your dream, do it. Today it is really bad in Nepal. Maybe tomorrow the future is there. Maybe somebody will come, the good leadership, hope for the best, I don't want to discourage them. But the sad part is, this is the fact.
Yeah, it is. So, did you have a lot of calls from not simply students, but even pilots from outside our country when the Yeti Airlines crashed 2 or 3 months ago?
Even interaction with them? Yes, interaction with, 100%. Wherever you go, like even a couple of friends, couple of family members, their children, they're about to send for this particular pilot training or ADD training or whatever it is. They are a little confused now. They used to call me and then ask, what do we do? Is it safe? And there's a misconception about our geographical condition. Because of this condition, we're getting lots of crashes or lots of incident accidents. That's not true.
That's not true.
Absolutely not true. I've been flying in terrain areas so many years. You have to have a certain criteria to go to those places. If you avoid, if you try to challenge that criteria or maybe procedures, you're done. You follow the procedures, you're safe.
Yeah. I mean, when the Air Dynasty crash took place in 2019, and that took the life of our aviation, I think the tourism minister as well, there were a lot of people who said that perhaps the pilot was put into a lot of pressure from those people in order to fly in conditions that was not really safe. Because talking to the locals who were around the area who did not really observe the crash, but were talking to the pilot before they flew, they said that the weather was so inclement, and they thought the pilot must have been mad in order to take off in conditions like that. So is there some sort of pressure that airlines may be put into pilots to fly when for weather? The conditions are not really good.
That happened. That happened everywhere. But the particular case you're talking about, the dynasty crash, we lost so many, good personalities, That government investigation, where's the report? They have to publish this report, whether they have been pressurized or not, because the managing director was there on board. He was just an employee of that particular guy. Minister was there. That's what he's talking about, no?
Yes, the Director General, I think, was there.
Yes, so many people were there. Whether it is pressurized or not, we don't know. But yes, sounds like they pressurize only. But the authority, where's the report? Publish the report. If you publish the report, on the basis of this report, so many people will, they will get the benefit, no? Then they realize, okay, if you fire the pressurized, with the pressure from the management level or from that level of this level, whatever level, this is what happen. And you have to teach them regarding this investigation report. If you teach the reports to the new people, new trainee, or maybe new co-pilot, or maybe new captains, then they realize, wow, this is one of the reasons then we get crashes.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons we are blacklisted in all over the world. This is one of the reasons that we're getting killed. This is one of the reasons we're losing so many family members. But the worst part is they will not publish this kind of report. I don't know why.
So, say a crash takes place on a given day. How many months after the crash is the report supposed to be published? Is there international mandates like that?
There is there's high-tech code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you talk about if you talk about 20 years back, maybe it takes quite little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Now the report is there. Even 80 Airways, all the reports are there. They are just trying to vanish this report. I believe this is my opinion, and they are taking long time. So the public memory is going to be very short. They will forget everything. Then they will say, okay, hanky-panky reports, and then there's a close the system, everything. And then same thing happen again, another 2-3 years time. Then they will come back and they'll say, oh, this, that, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, so
This is very sad.
very sad.
Very sad. Accountability is not.
Because the crash took place on January the 15th, and we're already running past April, and we don't have any reports. And this is quite shady, because I don't think that it takes so much of time in order to get a report as well. Before that, we also had another crash that took place in Johnson, which was very frightening.
Exactly.
And that might have been a very different... the reason for the crash might have been very different, because they say that the pocket of a cloud developed very quickly in that area.
No, as I told you, you have to have some kind of restriction, some kind of limit.
Mm-hmm.
What? How far I can go? This is my limit. When you're a good pilot, when you have experienced pilot, so many hours of flying experience, one small mistake, you're faced.
Mm-hmm.
Because this field, there is no sorry. You're working on the ground and sitting in the chair, and then if you do some mistakes, you can just say that, sorry, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'll just correct in my next course.
Mm-hmm.
But there, you crash. You cannot say I crashed the aircraft, tomorrow I'll not crash. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, this time I made a mistake. No. As a pilot, you have zero tolerance. Mm-hmm. No mistake. Your presence of mind is supposed to be there 100% all the time. As a human being, you cannot give 100%. That's the reason there are two pilots. One is first officer, which we call co-pilot, and the captain. 50% effort comes 100%.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The system is so corrupt in Nepal. Even even aeroplane, the system is corrupt there. The captain doesn't listen to the first officer. Where the first officer, even a couple of crash, I don't want to mention any particular crash in it, couple of crash, first officer has been keep on telling captain, sir, I think we're on the wrong track. I think we're on the right of this track. He's not even listening to him. He's keep on going. And he thinks he's a big shot. Is it God or whatever it is?
Yes. I mean,
That's the attitude here. You have to change that attitude.
yeah.
And if they don't want to change the attitude, there's authority. Get them. You have the information from the first officers. You have the information from cabin crew. You have the information from the ground staff. You take action. Because you are authority. Because of your small mistake or maybe deviation, you kill so many people. See the disaster, what happened? Silly mistake. So many lives.
Yes. So we tend to hear this from a lot of cabin crew as well, that the pilot doesn't quite listen to the first officer. He tends to treat him as like a second-class citizen.
100%. I agree with you. Because I had flown in Nepal.
Okay.
I started my career in Nepal. I was flying at the Econ for almost 9 years. And then I don't say all captains, but I believe 80% of them, they listen to first officer. You have to shout. You have to fight literally. Then only they listen to you. So when I was to, then I encourage all the first officer, fight. Positively fight. If you think he's not doing right, he's also human being. He's not God. Tell him, sir. Politely tell him, sir, this is what it is. Something is wrong. And then if he grounded you, when he comes to the ground, it's all right. You're on ground, you're safe, your life is there. So, so if he does something mistake on in the sky, both of you are dead. He's taking your life also. So don't let anybody take your life. Be careful. So that happened. I don't know. These days, I think it's more. Captain doesn't. There's an ego. There's an ego problem. They don't listen to the first officer. I think it's more because I've been interacting with a lot of first officer. My God, their opinion is so bad. You know, when you are with them with a glass of beer or maybe coffee or chatting here and there, casual talk, these people are like, sir, this is what happening. These people are like that. That is the my. This is not supposed to be.
So what role can play in order to bridge the communication gap between the first officer?
No, that's what, like you said, the cabin crew also, they also play the vital role in the aircrafts. Even, when I used to brief the cabin crew, when I was a captain flying in India, Nepal, that procedure was not there when I was flying in Nepal. But in India, there is a procedures. Before the flight, you have to brief the cabin crew. What I used to tell them is like, one portion, maybe the 20% the portion of the aircraft is in my control. Rest, almost 80% aircraft is in your control. Passengers, their safety, even you can look out the window. If you see any abnormality in the wings, here and there, inform me. But here, if the cabin crew inform the captain, sir, I see something in the island view red, they said, okay, please, back up. You don't know fly. I'm the guard. That's the attitude here. Like you said, a breeze between the captain, first officer, and the authority. It's a vital. They must get the information from the cabin crew, first officer, and even captain. Sometimes you have awkward type of first officer also. But that is very rare. Even first officer, they don't listen sometimes.
Okay.
That also happened a couple of times with me. But when you're in charge, tell him to this. So we'll talk him down. Okay. I don't like it. If you're landing somewhere with a condition, rainy condition, if the first officer said captain is capable, because those kind of training is there all the time, they can be able to land easily, no? But the first officer feels very uncomfortable. He said, sir, I'm not feeling comfortable. Let's go. You must go. You must go. That's the procedures of the flying. There's a rule of law in the cockpit. You cannot make uncomfortable to your first officer. He has to be comfortable. Here, what is it? Nothing. I heard that after this incident also, one airlines got like without landing gear, then almost landing. And then we have a system in the aircraft that too low gear, the sound came, the aircraft itself start giving warning. Your gear is not down. What are you doing? He's supposed to go around, come back and land. But what he did, he doesn't know this checklist, he doesn't know the SOP, he doesn't know the memory items. Just he lowered the gear 500 feet above the ground. He's not supposed to do that, but the current gear and landed. He's lucky, nothing happened. That report, it has to go to DGC. They have to tell them to take the correction course for the company. Even company, they have to be very serious about it. Because there's a life involved and goodwill of the company involved. So many things involved, no?
Yeah.
So it's very sad. It's very sad. I don't know. They know there's so many good people are there in DGC, civil aviation can. I don't know why they are not coming to the action. They should come now. It's high time. We're all blacklisted. If you go to the abroad somewhere and you tell them you're a pilot from Nepal, it's embarrassment. It's very embarrassing.
You said that there's not a lot of communication between the first officer and the pilots in many of the airlines in our country, but we also have had reports from Europe where it has been said that by the year 2030 they'll be shifting to planes that would be operating with a single pilot. Do you think that is a likely scenario, that in less than a decade we'll be moving into aircrafts like that?
That's possible. Mm-hmm. Possible, because everything is... Now you're talking about single pilot. I think there is no pilot also one day. The aircraft will fly itself, no. Mm-hmm. Like this automatic cars, no? The drivers not required these days. In the US, that is also approved almost. So the possibility is there, but how I avoid that? A question mark. This will take some time, I believe.
Yes, and I think that the head of the Pilots Association from Australia also said that operating with single pilots might bring about a lot of crashes that we don't really know, because for now we have as the first pilot to keep the piloting errors in check. But when there's a single person and with nobody to correct him, or like you said, nobody to tell him, sir, you might be making a mistake, it might have more crashes than usual.
Exactly.
And will that also be a burden mentally on the pilots?
If you're single,
yes,
it is 100%. 100%. Because, like I said to a human being, who made a mistake. If I do mistakes, that this guy is there to correct me. And I have to train this guy throughout the flight. The good part of Nepal is all the captains, they keep flying and they teach the first officer properly, as long as they are in their frequency. If they try to do little acrobatic with the captains, then they'll not get the flight. That's the reason that people are very polite, to get the flight. So they are quite good. This is one way. It's is good part actually. But in India, the problem is lots of Air Force pilots are there. They do everything by themselves.
Okay.
That's the worst part. Co-pilot don't get to do anything. They don't get chance to do anything
In India.
in India. Those days, I'm talking about like when I was in India. So when we came from Nepal as a civilian pilot, we said do it. Because the reason is, if you don't train the first officer properly, what happens is, if something happened to you tomorrow, if you are incapacitated, what will happen? You die. Your date finished if you don't train him. He is your life-saving, whatever it is, machine. You have to train him properly. So those people, those past options, those days, they used to die to fly with us. They used to avoid those Air Force pilots. And then one day I asked them, why you don't want to fly with it? Sir, even they read the checklist themselves. That is my duty actually. Pilot flying, pilot not flying. That if the first officer is a pilot flying, captain is a pilot not flying. So he's supposed to read the checklist. But he is doing both job, pilot flying job, pilot not flying job, PIF job by himself. Even when the flash and gear, whatever need to be done by the first officer, he's doing by himself. And those people were like, they used to get very upset those days. And I don't know what is it now. I believe the same thing in India. It is very difficult to change that attitude in India. If they are like Air Force pilot or maybe the pilot from those backgrounds, very difficult. But civilian pilot, yes, they do train the first officer because they are their life-saving machine. They are their life-saving whatever it is. There. But Nepal, I'm happy that people will get to learn from the captain. They teach them. Subject to you are in the same frequency.
Okay, you're in the same wavelength, frequency.
Otherwise, seems just an error.
We had a pilot here about a couple of months ago, and he said that as soon as a plane crashes, the first person that is pointed at is pilot. They say it's the fault of the pilot. Sometimes the airlines also tries to shift with guilt of the crash from themselves and put it onto pilots a bit too much. Do you think that there is some credence to that belief as well?
So see, I would like to talk about in both ways. First of all, let's talk about the authority and the airlines. It's very easy, The man is dead, so it is to blame him. So he's not. He will not come to defend himself, right? He's gone. Right. And operator is not going to. In our context, Nepal context, if it is abroad or somewhere else, yes, it's a matter of goodwill. It's a matter of company name. That is matter. But here, company is not going to lose anything. You will get the money from the insurance company. You might get another aircraft after a couple of months or 2-3 months. So he is there. He has no issue. Right? Now the authority. Big responsibility in their head. Where are they? If before blaming captains or pilots, where were they before? They have to go to the airlines. They have to go to the operator. They have to check the pilot ability. They properly check whether they are following the procedure or not. They are only spoiling the pilots. It's us. Spoiled by the operator and the aviation. Civil aviation. Because nobody check us. So I'll do any hanky-panky. So, both the captains also, you have to be very sincere and very honest with your profession. Otherwise, you will not get success. So, if you are sincere, if you are honest, nobody will blame you. There will be no crashes now.
Yeah.
So, you relax. If you are not sincere, if you are not doing proper job, I will involve even engineer also in this case. Sometimes but most of the crashes, that is on human error. Human error. Maximum crashes, right? So few crashes, if it is a technical issues or aircraft problem, this, that, then I'll involve engineer also in this case. That they have to be very sincere. If some parts need to be changed in certain period, they must change, regardless of company pressure. Tell them, no, but they're not tell. The management level comes and the higher level people, so they take a flight for a couple of days more. Okay, fly. Tell the captain also flying. Mostly the captain doesn't know about it. Only engineer comes to know. Then they will not even disclosed by captains, which is very sad. It's very sad. Otherwise, I would say the authority, they must act very strictly. They must they must have some manpower to go to the particular airlines and check the pilots, whether their training is proper or not, their license is up to date or not, they have done the classes or not, they have done the CRM courses or not, and sometime randomly you go to the aircraft, sit in the cockpit, check how they fly, how they communicate, first officer and captains. So that will reduce your the accident incident chances, right? And same thing goes to the operator also. It doesn't matter that you make money today, tomorrow what will happen, you don't know. But it's better to keep safe flying, make a small amount of money, but to keep the priority for the safety.
Yes, I mean, there was an air Kathmandu crash, I think this is back in 2016, in one of the rural parts of our country, and it was found out that the engineering department had not really maintained the aircraft as well as it should have. And after a few months, the airlines itself went bankrupt. So I think it's as you said, this is a very sad affair that even engineers are sometimes they're pressurized as well, given that we don't really have a booming aviation sector where they could go to different airlines, apply for jobs. I hear that the top personnel in every airline are well connected with one another. So somebody makes a call and says, the so-and-so guy, don't give him a job at your company. This is also a problem that we've heard. I mean, in the United States of America, there are many regional airlines. There are many different states, some of which are not connected with one another. But given that the aviation sector in our country is so small, I think it's very difficult for anybody to have a bad rapport or have a bad asterisk against their enemies. It makes it really difficult for them to get jobs as well. But that might not be an excuse for letting an aircraft as dangerous as that to fly, right?
I mean, yes. Yes, actually, if, like you said, those, getting job from one to another after spoiling that company's name, fame, and the flying, whatever he does, that can. I think that guy should be responsibility for his own career. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Like I said, every time I tell all the new guys, even young generation, sincerity is very important. In this country, that is lacking. From higher level, from the government level to all the way down. So we need that sanskar type cheese, and the moral part. I think education system they have to establish from the zero level, from the very low level like class 1 or maybe 2 or 3. They will give them. They have to provide those kind of education from that level itself. Then only they will not have a corrupt attitude when they grow up. The problem in Nepal is that only everybody wants to make money in no time. All sectors. So which is like a very bad state of affairs, we said.
There are people who worked in Nepal and also worked in India and say that there is a huge gap between how the Indian aviation operates and how the Nepalese aviation operates. Sometimes in the Nepalese aviation, it said that faulty machines might be told to be proceeded with for a lot longer. Say you've got 40 engines, that might not be replaced. But that's not really the case in India. The DGCA in India is very, very strict about these matters as well. So, is there something like that?
100%. See, I have seen mostly Nepal DGCA, they copy everything from Indian DGCA and paste here. But I don't say that is bad. If it is a good thing, yes, you're copying. Why not? It's all right. That's a good thing. Indian DGCA, even Indian Aviation. Let's talk about Indian Aviation. Fantastic. Fantastic. When I was flying in Nepal for like almost 8-9 years, very less procedures flying those days. Very less. Mostly we'll do VFR flying, which is like you see some landmark and follow the landmark and land the aircraft and come back. The motif is those days, just land the aircraft, get the passenger off the aircraft, get the passengers, come back and go to the base, go home, relax. That was the motive. Didn't get any chance to learn many things. Even so many experienced, top class captains who used to fly when I was first officer then. Didn't get chance to learn so many things. But after I went to India and have flown almost all airlines in India, for 6 months, like we're completely lost. Oh my God, what kind of fly we're doing in Nepal? It's a push fly. We knew nothing. We knew nothing. Very sad. And then it was kind of embarrassing also. 4 hours, 3,500 hours experienced captain, they hired us like the experienced captain. Then when we went for the process of flying, few process of flying we knew. Then when you see down from those small patches of the small clouds wall, we forgot about the procedures. Let's go, we have no inside. We go jump out of that hole and then see that, keep in touch with the grounds and land the aircraft. That is not what it's supposed to be. Took almost 4 or 5 months, I would say 6 months. And we realized, oh my God, this is fine. You learn how to fly now. This is my beginning of the flight. Yes, I agree with you. Indian aviation is, there is no comparison. You cannot compare Nepal and India.
Okay.
Nothing else. Now, I'm talking about that 10-15 years back. I believe today it is much, much better than those days. Because training, I think, training part is little bit improved now. So even I interact with the few first officers and the captains also, new captains also. When they give me some feedbacks, okay, good, something is there, good. At least this is a beginning, which is a good sign.
Okay. About the Indian aviation sector, you might have a lot of sophisticated landing technologies as well. We take a look at the nuclear hub, for example, in our country, which is so heavily congested during the trekking hours.
Yes.
And you see that now almost 20-30 flights are operated there every day. But we still don't have an instrument landing system. We still fly visually. Is that a technical challenge in that part, or is that a lack of effort from our aviation community to set up something more sophisticated in a terrain that's so complicated to land in?
No, it is difficult. It's a technical actually. Local airport is quite critical airport, and that airport is not possible to set up any high class, high profile type instrument for the landing or maybe navigation. It's very difficult. The company, they have to draw the line somewhere. The company, they have to tell the pilot, this is your final authority, this far you can go. So pilot, they have to make their own SOP. standard operating procedures. Captain, okay, this weather, if wind is this much wind, if it is coming from this left, right, front, whatever it is, probably this is there, I will manage up to this level. Otherwise, I'll come back. That they have to maintain. Otherwise, you do some stupid things and blame to the terrain. No, it's not terrain. It's you, your concept, your mind set up. Because you are from one airlines. You landed the aircraft 20 minutes back. When I went there, I saw it clouded, and then a cloud, and then unable to proceed toward the airport. Then I feel like, okay, my God, this guy is junior to me. He is landed already. Now I have ego. I must land that aircraft. So when I try that hard, then you are dead. And not only you are dead, you are killing so many people also. So aviation, there is no shortcut. You are not flying one time. You are young. You have a long way to go. So you are qualified manpower for this country, Don't spoil yourself. All of the procedures. Today, if you can't land, tomorrow you land. Don't worry. That passenger cancel the flight. Go tomorrow. That I just really have to develop. Okay. Otherwise, you will keep on getting this kind of accident crashes, and then we'll talk and discuss. This kind of Nepal is a story maker for the aviation crash. We make the story, wow, plane crash, or this happened all over the world. We're blacklisted. Very sad.
We're talking about the same pilot who completed his piloting from South Africa. He told me that the Bukhara International Airport had been not really well done, in that it's very close to the Annapurna Conservation Area project. There are a lot of birds. So the incidence of bird strikes will get higher if you see a greater number of flights that are operating there. Do you think that is the case with Bukhara International Airport? Have you had the chance to go there?
Not really. The thing is, being as a pilot, I'm not actually the airport expert. I don't know about those parts. I have been to the whole airport hundreds of times, maybe more than that. And even that airport used to call critical, but we used to have our one safety margin. We used to go on our own. Okay, if there is something wrong, go back to Kathmandu. Go back to Bhairava land. We will not take any chances. Those days, that used to be there. Now it's a 7,000 feet runway, so some long runway. And you were talking about there is a problem with some mountains, and then problem with the birds. Those exports, they have taken so much money to build that runway.
Yes.
So they are held accountability of that. Get them. If that airport is failed, put them in the jail. The government, then only European Union will trust them. No. Where's the action? Where's the responsibility? The plane crash, nobody's there. There's no responsibility now. So many people died. Anybody's there? Say, okay, we have taken action against so and so people. Okay, even though it is a pilot mistake, somebody forced him to do this kind of mistake. So who is this guy? Find out. Take action against him. Then only European Union will see. European Union, they're sitting here, doing that, just enjoying their life here. No, they are watching every single movement of our aviation industry. So they will give the report to their headquarters. Then over they release. Where's the action? There's no action. So the airport part, I don't know. So that part is
just touching upon the lack of research that's been done.
Exactly. There's a lack of research. So again, the research, those people who approved that runway, they also came to the back door. The political appointments, the political things, they are maybe about that,
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. It's like everywhere is like that. Very sad.
This is something that me and Rupesh encountered when Balan Shah became the mayor of Kathmandu. There was a cleanliness campaign organized at Sisto, the place where we throw in all of our garbage. And the same program was already done about 3 or 4 years ago when the two of us were working at the Nepalese Academy of Science and Technology. We were assistant researchers there, and few friends of ours who worked in the environment department had already gone there, already done the assessment, already said that this is having a deleterious effect on the health of so many people. Nobody heard them back then. But when Balanchai came about, and there was a lot of furor, there was a lot of uproar, and they said, look, Balan is taking so many experts there. And I said, these are not experts. I've already worked in the Nepalese Academy of Science and Technology. I know how corrupt it is.
Exactly.
I know how much misappropriation of funds take place. So don't be fooled by whenever you hear the word expert, because most of them who work there were political appointments. They did not get through any competitive examinations. They were friends of very powerful people who certainly had connections with them. And I think this is not simply down in the aviation sector, but if you take a look at science and technology, you take a look at the roads in our country.
Exactly. Everywhere. You have to reshuffle. You have to reshuffle whole system and the operators who is running the system. No, they don't have a brain. See, the thing is, whoever is running the country, they are not experts. They don't know about the country itself. Whoever running the hospitals, they are not doctors. They are all stupid people running the thing. Same like the airlines also. They are not real pilots. They are not real operators. They are not real cabin crew. They are not real first officer. They are not most of them, they are coming the back doors. Very sad. There has to be
a check and balance.
Some good, like you said, research and bring the good people there. Even the prime ministers, he doesn't have to do everything, but he can hire or keep good personalities, no? Who have given the effort to the society, effort to the world, or maybe they can do something for our country. Get information from him. Same like operated in airlines. Find out the exports from the market, aviation exports. Get him on board and get the information. And you have to tie the pilot, you have to tie the engineer, you have to tie the ground staff. Do it. You'll make money easily. The safety is first. That concept has to be there all the time. For this aviation field is specific.
When the Royal Nepalese Airlines Corporation was established, I feel that it was King Birendra who brought a lot of people from France who were experts in the aviation field to set it up and run it easily functioning. And there were glorious days back then. When we went to Frankfurt, we went to many parts of Europe.
Yes.
And now it seems that we're shrinking and we're getting smaller and smaller. And every week or so, what is that? Dear Nepalese Airlines doing this, trying to land without landing gear. We hear things like these, and as you said, we don't really tend to bring in experts. We just tend to bring in people who are well connected.
Yes, same thing. Like we've been discussing, even this Royal Nepal Airlines. See the board of directors, all political appointees. What are they going to do? Bring the pilots, bring the engineers, bring the aviation experts there. And if they don't do the job, that is their accountability. Hang them. That is what it's supposed to be. We need one strong leader in this country. That is lacking, I think.
When a crash takes place, and it has been said that some countries have this system that the ministry, which is directly connected with the airlines, doesn't really get involved in preparing the assessment of the crash. So this gives them a certain check and balance, and that there are two ministries that are competing with one another. And when they're publishing reports, they have the onus to bring down the other person's work. But I think that in our country, can't be overarching authority, and there is no other body to quite challenge it. Do you think that we need an independent body which can keep can and balance?
that part, I don't know. This part of the world, I don't know. That is there. Even India, if that the crash happened, I don't think there is any independent body who will do independently an investigation. That I don't know. But if there is such a things, yes, it's always welcome. Because then one party cannot do any here and there. No? So there is accountability, there's check and balances there. Yes, that is always welcome actually. If but I don't know because it is a very sensitive matter. They will allow a private company or maybe another system to work on that or not. But I think it's a good point.
Yeah, one's better. One of the things that European Union says is that CAN is the one who directs all things. It makes all of the regulations. And again, it is the same body which says these regulations are okay. And that there is too much power that is divested in CAN. And if we could establish a way to break that, we could give CAN a certain amount of authority and give the checking part of it, or managing other things to a different authority, then we might consider you guys.
But I think, regarding this particular crash in Pokhara crash, I think ATR company, they came and they did their independent investigation because their team were here. And even I heard that they were very upset in many cases. So that's the reason the government is not publishing all these reports, even CVR, cockpit voice recorder, the conversation, whatever is there, that is just last 30 seconds or maybe 15 seconds conversation only they are published. So there is some, even as you know this, the company will also pressurize, even the manufacturer also pressurize to the poor country like us.
Yeah.
Direct to the government level, they'll pressurize. And they will tell them like, okay, don't publish this report if there is a technical issues in the apps.
Yeah.
They will pressurize. That happened to the country like us.
Yeah, I don't think that it simply happens to a country like us. I mean, when the MAX 737 was grounded, there was a fault in the MCAS system.
Yes.
And they didn't really want to take responsibility for that. And
Exactly.
they said, no, this is not our fault.
Yes.
And then when the Ethiopian Airlines crashed, then they said, maybe the fault is in us. So I think that it's only down to being a small country. Sometimes I think that the airlines have become too powerful in that now they can control the information as well.
Mostly it's because of the small country and poor country, they'll manipulate. But if it is a serious matter, they'll manipulate anyone. The reason is such a huge amount of money involved with that for the manufacturer. No, if the report comes, this is just hypothetical things were created by that. If technical issue was there in that ATR's crash in Pokhara, okay, automatically something happened, which is not possible. But if they prove that that happened, then the ATR company, they will shut down their company. See the investment? Billions of dollars, pounds, maybe whatever called euro. That's so many people employed in that company. So they will collapse. So rather than that, what they do, they will try to come to the ministerial level or government level and manipulate, and maybe there is like some financial deal with, and that happened to everywhere. Actually, even if that happened to the strong company or maybe strong country, I think they would manage to manipulate.
Yeah. So I heard that to manipulate. We had the first female helicopter of our country recently crashed a helicopter quite close to Talmagiri base camp. And there were a few people who gave us the lead that the helicopter had too much weight, in that they were carrying a lot of weight as well. And these are very simple things that pilots have to manage, right, in order to...
And there is no sincerity. Where is sincerity there? You are a professional. Why are you getting so extra load?
And that too puts danger in.
at that high altitude. And that high altitude, there is already a load restriction. When you go to the high altitude, there's a load restriction and then you carry extra load. Or maybe there's also pressure, like you said, from the management pressure, maybe government pressure, maybe DGCA pressure, I don't know. The investigation, there's a matter of investigation now. So that's what, I don't, my philosophy is civil aviation, they have to work in such a way so they don't have to do any investigation. So if there is no crash, there is no accident, no incident, they will save a lot of money to do the investigation, right?
Then we can get rid of so many experts who do with
Experts, yes. And you will get released by European Union just like that. Where's the action? I don't see the action during this period also. So I've seen a couple of, I've heard about it. I've taken a couple of action after these things, which is very well go. Even in my first quite a few interaction with the media, I told them people are coming from this Thanport just like that, and no approach, nothing, just landing there. Even if you're standing in front of that Kodeso area, you get scared. Oh my God, what the hell he's doing? He's backing like anything and then aligning the runway, landing, which is not necessary. Why? Small aircraft, that is also I don't recommend, but it's all right. That is a maneuverable aircraft. Okay, that aircraft we can easily do it. But those captains, their background is strong, twin rotor ground. So they think they're flying ATR also like twin. What doesn't make any sense? Come on, be matured, And that has been stopped. I really appreciate that Nepal DGC that action. That is completely stopped. I don't see anyone coming from that software now. They are following proper procedures. That is what is supposed to be. I think this one is very, very important action taken by the Nepal DGC. And I think the European Union is monitoring this part. And at least there is like little bit of hope in near future. This European Union will release us from the blacklist. So we can also proudly say, when you go abroad, I'm a Nepalese pilot.
So have you also flown helicopters? No, not really.
I've flown single-engine aircraft, the Cessna Caravan. When I was at Nikon here, I used to fly from Nepal to all the western part of airfield. Umla, Dolpa, Basura, Surkhet used to be small those days, but now I heard it updated.
It's become better.
It's better, yes.
Markets around it have also flourished, so there's a lot of population density as well.
Yeah.
There's also a very big, I think, understanding gap for the general public in that they think that a smaller aircraft is likely to crash more than a bigger aircraft. And that says you've flown store vehicles as well for takeoff and landing systems, as well as a larger aircraft. Do you think that's really the case in that the size matters?
No. It's not a size, it's the mental.
It's a mental issue. Because there are a lot of people, whenever they fly to the Lukla airport, or whenever they hear that a plane has landed in Lukla or Dolpa or Majura or Ulap or places that you've flown to, they think that it's the smaller aircraft that
they challenge to the atmosphere, they challenge the terrain. They don't know their capability. And they are going beyond their capability. That's the reason. I'll tell you one thing. When I was flying the single-engine sister caravan out of Nepal Ridge, when you cross that Nepal Ridge, the mountain range, then you have no place to land. Then we have only one engine. If you do mistakes, that's different part. Okay. Now, if the technical problem happened and one engine is shut down, at what it do? So I used to think about I used to look everywhere because the benefit of a small aircraft flying is you have a small airfield also. You can easily just go glide and land there mapped. At least you can save somebody. The bigger aircraft, there is not
To the low probability of
yes,
saving that.
yes. And I used to see the riverbank. Okay, this is a riverbank. I can if something happened. That was constantly I'm there.
So you always had a backup plan.
Yes. And when you are like such a place that you have no with no ladder, you have no way that something goes wrong. You can glide this aircraft and land somewhere. Then I used to be very panic actually. Not like affect my flying panic, but little panic. Okay, I go out of this area as soon as possible. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's that. Even good weather condition also we used to observe and we used to think about it a lot. And this is one benefit of flying a single engine aircraft and a small aircraft. 203 is the best aircraft in Nepal contest in this hour terrain. If something goes wrong, both engine fail also. If you have really good planning, if you keep these things in your mind, okay, if something goes wrong here, I can glide up to there. If that happened there, I can glide up to there. So I will find out the way. Okay, there's a 40 field somewhere. Okay, I'll land this field. That's it. This is how we can plan easy. But bigger aircraft, that's a different story now. A bigger aircraft, you're flying very high altitude, even if you're both engine failed. Now you can glide in a certain area. So you will get chance to land at least somewhere, some field, That is also there. So both have their own benefits, qualities. So you cannot say like small aircraft very easy to, tend to crash and the big aircraft at all. That's something it's not really true. It's all our mindset.
So have you ever had the chance to fly outside of India as well? Or has it primarily been India?
India.
So do you have any aspirations?
So initially, training after in USA, there was just a small aircraft. It was 2-seater, 4-seater aircraft. Afro in the US.
Okay, and
3 hours.
Okay, that's wonderful. So how different are the American skies compared to the Nepalese skies?
It's just comparison.
No comparison.
1994, I did my training. Okay, that time, the technology was very good.
Very good.
Very good. There is no comparison. Even any part of the world, I think, US is the best in aviation. Their airport facilities, training facilities, that's when people used to go US, that's the reason. Training-wise, you get the best training in US.
So it's often been said by students of climate change that there is an increase in the amount of clear air turbulence that pilots encounter in the recent days. Since you flew from 1994 and it's almost been, 20, 30 years since you've done that. So do you see that there is credence to this belief that there is a rise in clear air turbulence or the turbulence in general?
Yes. That is actually, you get in particular season. Sometime pre-monsoon or sometime post-monsoon. Immediate post-monsoon or immediate pre-monsoon. You get clear air turbulence, yes. And that is quite challenging. You will not have any cloud. You will not have any weather. There is, you could call CAT. You have disaster turbulence, and you must change the level when you have that. When you encounter such a challenging weight, so best way you go up or go down. Sometimes you will get everywhere. Wise, but you have to brief the passengers that this is what it is. So don't worry. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. That's all you can tell. So that is also one other part, being as a passenger, if you heard something from your commander, right, that is, you get satisfied. You get confident, no? Okay, now captain is telling me. So that is very important. So that operator, they should make this kind of mandatory rules. if any turbulence or even though normal flight, captain briefing is very, very important.
So are Nepalese skies more turbulent compared to India and the United States?
No, that is actually what happened is because of the terrain, they call some kind of upwind or downwind. They comes close to the terrain area. They call katabatic, anabatic wind. That happened. The western side or maybe Nukla side, you get that kind of things. But being that is also another people blame to the terrain because of this reason also. That is also up to you, no? You've been flying that area so many years, so many times. You should know the katabatic wind is there, anabatic wind is there, whatever is there, wind is there. Yeah. That wind is going to be very critical. If you realize that is the wind is blowing really tough in that area, mountain area wind, the wind is quite critical, yes. Like flying in terrain, Parai area, flat area and this area, there's a difference. 100%. Okay. So there you have to realize, no?
It's something that pilots should consider. It's like saying that whenever you live in a particular place for a lot of time, you tend to look at the weather and you can guess what's going to happen. Saying, I stayed very close to Lukla, above Nacha Bazaar for about a year. Okay. And there were locals who would take a look at a particular type of cloud and give you a cue as to what is going to happen.
Absolutely, yes. And they actually, obviously, you cannot follow them, but yes, you can take as a reference. Yes, absolutely. If I've been to Lukla those days couple of times. Yes, we used to call our ground staff. They used to give us information. Yes, Captain. Nothing. Sometimes they pressurize. They have that high profile guest, so they give you a piece of information also. Even tower people also they used to give those days. Okay. Even tower like you go to Dolpa, maybe Jumla. Sir, how is the weather? Even the weather is little critical. They say, I can see this that comes out. When you go there, what the hell you're talking? We're not supposed to come. No, sir, it's all right. Somebody's traveling. This minister is there. Maybe somebody's there. Those days, flying was like I told you. When I went to India, I was completely lost. That we were flying just like we were flying for flying one day.
Okay, that's fine. So, how long do you intend to fly? For how many years or how many hours?
More? I'm done.
You're done.
Okay. I want to enjoy my life now. Okay. That's what I still have 6-7 years to go to fly, but I draw the line somewhere. So I think try to take a break or maybe relax, enjoy your life. So I have different philosophy of life. So I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I still have 6-7 years to fly. But so far, I'm done.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you want to do now that you're done flying? Do you want to
travel?
You want to travel?
I want to travel, see new things, Before I get really bored. Before I get really grounded, no?
So we wish you all the best for future life. It was wonderful talking to you. I have to say that we never had a guest who could talk so openly about things as you. So I think that this will be a memory that we'll keep for a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.